This may be one of the most important visits by an American president to Europe. Although unofficial, it will influence key decisions made by Washington regarding trade agreements with the European Union. During his 5-day visit to Scotland, Donald Trump is expected to spend most of his time relaxing at resorts owned by his family. However, on the sidelines of this short vacation, he is scheduled to meet with the British Prime Minister and the head of the European Commission. The American president's European vacation is by no means a rest. Even before the start of his vacation in Scotland, it was clear that there would be a queue of people waiting to see the American president. This is all due to the approaching deadline for the United States to impose tariffs on countries that do not agree with Washington on the terms of trade cooperation. After the initial shock and criticism directed at the American administration, it turned out that the phone on the president's desk never stopped ringing, and leaders from around the world wanted, as Trump says, a deal with America.
We had an amazing 6 months, and this is sort of an example of it. Now we're meeting with the European Union, we're also meeting with, as you know, the head of UK, Prime Minister, and I look forward to that. But we're meeting, in terms of a deal, we're meeting with the European Union, and that would be actually the biggest deal of them all if we make it.
Expectations are high, but so are the stakes. Failure to reach an agreement could roil the already volatile markets. So far, there is talk of 20% tariffs on everything, not to mention the existing 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum.
So our message today is clear. We are ready for a deal. At the same time, we are preparing for the possibility that no satisfactory agreement is reached. This is why we consulted on a rebalancing list, and we will defend the European interest as needed. In short, all options remain on the table.
This rebalancing list, as officials diplomatically call it, is nothing more than reciprocal tariffs. The European Union already has a package of tariffs worth nearly $100 billion up its sleeve. However, a showdown with Trump may not be successful. At the other end of the spectrum are countries such as Japan, the Philippines, and Indonesia, which have already concluded trade agreements that are satisfactory to both sides. There will be many similar announcements before the 1st of August.
I've said many times from this podium that the president's trade team has been in active talks and discussions with many countries around the world, and you've all been anxiously awaiting what those countries were. Now you know 3 of them, and there's many more to go. We have now sent 25 letters to countries around the world.
Europe, however, is playing a different game. Just before meeting with Trump, Brussels officials attended a summit with China. One of the key decisions is export cooperation at the political level. It is about monitoring supply chains and government intervention in case of disruption.
So we agreed in this summit to create an upgraded export supply mechanism so that individual cases where we see a bottleneck and difficulties in the supply of critical raw materials, we have in this export supply mechanism immediately a response, and we can inform each other to support the company.
This is a signal to the United States. The EU is not afraid of tough negotiations or even a lack of agreement. It bases its market resilience on cooperation with Beijing. The problem is that this is a repeat of the strategy from 2 decades ago in the context of energy and cooperation with Russia, and no one needs to be reminded how that ended.